My name is Malika Paydar, and I am doing the debate on whether or not I believe the U.S. attack on the Venezuelan boat was legal or illegal. I'm arguing the position that it was illegal for several reasons. So, firstly, my reasoning comes from Article 3 of the United Nations, where it states that everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security. I believe that striking these individuals goes against that article of a right to life because they were pretty much attacked in a very brutal way. And this also relates back to Article 51, where I do not believe that such an act was an act of self-defense, mainly because they were not on the shore of the U.S. They were not within the U.S. territory. They were kind of just in a limbo, and in order to be able to carry out a strike in self-defense, you would kind of have to, whoever is aggressing would kind of have to be on your frontier, and they would have to be posing a credible threat. And there was no explanation as to what that boat was doing. It wasn't confirmed that there were drugs on there. They were not associated with the Venezuelan government, so that wasn't an attack on the U.S. by another state. So therefore, it was a civilian boat, and there was no reason to strike them because that's not self-defense. Secondly, in Article, which one is it? Sorry. In Article 11, it says that everyone has the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. And in Article 10, it does say that everyone is entitled to a full equality and to a fair and public hearing by an independent and impartial tribunal. Those people on the civilian boat were never given the opportunity to defend themselves. They were not able to have like a fair hearing. They were not able to kind of discuss their side of things. They were kind of just blown up without any sort of, self-defense. And so if it was kind of taken, like if the U.S. did take a legal approach, these individuals would have been able to be tried in a court and kind of explain what they were doing and, what was on their boat. And they weren't allowed to do that. So that's another reason why I do believe it is illegal. And then my last reasoning as to why I believe it was illegal was because it kind of just raises the question of territory, and the U.S. going and striking in the Caribbean Sea is not U.S. territory. There is nothing saying that the U.S. has any authority to carry out such a strike there. The United Nations Security Council was never briefed on such an attack, and it does outline in Article 51 that they should be made aware of any attacks, and they are kind of the ones that get to decide whether or not an attack would be justified, and that never happened, basically. So my reasoning is basically that the U.S. violated multiple UN charters. The U.S. is a part of the United Nations. And this was also just a bad idea because now we have escalated tensions with Venezuela and possibly given them a reason to attack us in the future. Thank you for listening to my debate stance.